Do my people have the opportunity to have their stories remembered? No one wants to, remember the plight of the Hebrews. Everyone wants to, they killed them, they raped them, robbed, murdered, stolen everything from them. And then they don't want you to even bring up the fact of, how they were treated, how they were murdered. All of that information has been hidden. But this is the time that all that information is going to come out. Gone are the days of you being able to just ignore all the things that you've done to our people. Those days are over with. Gone are the days of you being able to control the narrative and us being only able to talk about the 66 books and things like that. Now, I'm listening to these Christians trying to still use our scriptures and break them down. As a Christian guy who has a YouTube channel who was talking about Malachi chapter 3. And I'm going to take a look at that right now, but we're going to look at it in the correct context. This is Malachi 3 and 14. Ye have said, it is vain to serve God. And what profit is it that we have kept his ordinance and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts? We tried to keep the Most High's, rules and his covenant and his laws, but we have been walking mournfully because we have been destroyed for following his laws. Let's continue. And now we call the proud happy. Yea, they that work wickedness are set up. Yea, they that tempt God are even delivered. And that's what happened to the Catholic Church, the Christian Church. They're wicked. They've been acting wickedly, but they're walking around all proud and happy. And they've been set up. And they that tempt God are even delivered. They've been delivered. They've been able to live deliciously in this, in this system, in this reality. Verse 16, then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord and that thought upon his name. See, the Most High has remembered us. There's a book of remembrance with our names in it because we've been going through it. We went through the Inquisition. We were killed. No one has, made an account of our labors. No, we were put into slavery. All these horrible things that everyone has been trying to hide. Verse 17, and they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts. And that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them, as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. And that's what you're seeing going on today. These are the prophecies that are being fulfilled that the vast majority of the world is totally oblivious to. And I know the Most High had this guy use these verses today, and I'm sure his breakdown was totally different than what we're going to bring out. I didn't even listen to his breakdown. I just know that the Most High makes them say things, make them put things up, but then gets it in our path so we can give the correct understanding. And okay, so 18. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth God and him that serveth him not. This is Malachi 3 and 18. Is that not what you're seeing right now? Again, then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not. You can see very plainly who the Most High is dealing with and who he's not dealing with. You can now see who are the ones that really love the Most High, the ones that have been trying to keep his covenant. Now it's all plain and it's all out there for everyone to see. You can see that, we can go anywhere. We're not stuck just reading 66 books. We're not stuck just reading 80 books. We can go all over the place, and we can now use it in the correct context and look at history and what was done to our people and how those fulfillments of prophecies have been going on for the last 2,000 years. The other nations, they ignore all their dirt. They try to hide it and say, oh, well, those weren't real Christians. Those were the true Christians. Now let's look real quick at how Malachi 3 has been fulfilled. Take a look here at A History of the Jews in Christian Spain. This is an example of what my forefathers have gone through. In August 1487, Pedro Serrano of Montalban was indicted by the Inquisition in Toledo. Pedro was charged by the prosecutor general with having practiced the Jewish religion and having read the Bible in Jewish homes in a Spanish translation in the customary Jewish fashion. Witnesses testified that he had once said in discussing the Inquisition that, now check it out, this is the total fulfillment of prophecy right here. It is not strange that God has said, and he did not lie, that those who now suffered, meaning the converso, heretics, will be happy in the future, and that those who rejoiced in their sufferings, meaning the good Catholics, are like serpents who lick their chops when speaking of the plight of the afflicted ones. But in the end, all who suffered thus, the heretics, our people, and lived in conformity with the law of Moses, will rise above those who rejoiced in their misfortune, the good Christians. Says this man probably believed in the messianic prophecies, okay? They're current among the Jews, who often applied the sayings of the prophets to the conversos and the heresy trials, okay? Now, our people were well aware their prophecies were being fulfilled through our torture, through our mistreatment, through our deaths, through the burnings and the mutilations, all the things that our people suffered. Our people were well aware that we were fulfilling prophecy at that time. So when Christians come and say that what we're bringing is a new thing, see, it might be a new thing to you because your churches have hidden everything. They've gone out of the way to hide all of their dirt. But now the Most High is bringing all of that to the forefront. So now when you take a look at Malachi chapter 3, and you start reading about, the horrible things that we've had to go through. We've been trying to follow the Most High's ways, and we were being tortured and killed for that. But at the end, we were going to be rejoicing. That end is now. The rest of the world is not talking about what they've done to us. So therefore, there's no way that they can have the correct understanding when they're reading these passages from the Bible. They're going to try to twist it and make it seem like it's somehow talking about the church. But what have you guys suffered? What has the Christian church suffered? Like we said, you can't be the destroyed and the destroyers at the same time. You've been trying that so hard, but see, now when you start to actually look at these stories of what our people have gone through, when you start to look at their testimonies, you start to see how those testimonies have fulfilled prophecy. You start to see how this Inquisition was used by the devil. I mean, they're going after Israelites. They're killing Israelites, and all they're guilty of is following their laws. How can you not be an antichrist if all you're doing is going after Israelites, not for breaking any laws, but for following the covenant that they have established with the Most High? How can anything be any more antichrist than that? They're killing our people. They killed our people this whole time and destroyed our people for following the rules that the Most High has set for our people. They went out of their way to disconnect us from our power. And now in the last video, you saw how the church fathers were the ones who pretty much set it up that we're worse than humans. We're like animals, and they could do anything that they wanted to us. How is that not antichrist? That Jews were not even people. That us Israelites were pretty much just property of the kings. How is that not antichrist? And then, we had no laws, we had no rights. And it still even, goes on to today. So as you saw the true fulfillment of Malachi chapter 3 right now, you saw how when you just go back and you read it and you start to look at what we've been talking about with this Inquisition and all the things that they've done to us, you start to see the true fulfillment of these prophecies. And see, the only way that these guys can even try to talk about it, how they're being fulfilled, is to pretty much exclude, their actions for the last 2,000 years. And we're not going to do that. We're not going to let you get away with ignoring your past, your history, because that's the only way that you've gotten to the position that you're in today. Our people, the rest of the world fears you and listens to you because you have psychologically destroyed them, because you have, you tortured and killed our ancestors in front of them, and you've used fear in order for them to follow what you say. And you are still in that position of power because of what your ancestors have done in the past. And now the Most High is bringing out this truth and this understanding. And like I said, we're not here to debate with you and whatever else. We're here to establish who we are. We're all here to establish who you are. You will not be able to run away from your record anymore. That's why the Most High has you quiet. Most High will not allow you to try to even defend yourselves, because there's nothing to defend. Your history speaks for itself. It's just now we're allowed to bring this information out in order to get correct understanding. All praises to the Most High. Thank you to the earthly mother, which is wisdom. Shalom.